trivia's showing again. His grandfather was Hop Hopkins and made a couple of fortunes in the swinging 60s. 1960s. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Nightclubs, music venues, LA-based mostly, before the big one hit California, but he had a hot spot here in New York. Peabody shifted her weight. Ran hot for a couple of decades, then hit a serious patch of bad luck. The even more legendary Bobby Bray. I know who Bobby Bray was. Eve hooked her thumbs in her pockets, rocking back on her heels as she continued to study the body, the scene. I'm not completely oblivious to popular culture. Rock star, junkie, and a cult figure now. Vanished without a trace. Yeah, well, she was his wife, third or fourth, when she poofed. Rumor and gossip figured maybe he offed her or had her done, but the cops couldn't find enough evidence to indict. He went spooky, did the hermit thing, lost big fat piles of dough, and ended up ODing on his drug of choice. Can't remember what it was, right here in New York. Peabody pushed to her feet. From there, it's urban legend time. Place where he OD'd was upstairs from the club. That's where he'd holed himself up. In the luxury apartment he'd put in on the top floor. Building passed from hand to hand, but nobody could ever make a go of it, because... Peabody paused now, for effect. It's haunted. And cursed. Anyone who's ever tried to live there or put a business in suffers personal and or physical misfortunes. Number 12. Yeah, I've heard of it. Interesting. Hands still in her pockets, Eve scanned the large, dilapidated room. Haunted and cursed. Seems redundant. Guess maybe Radcliffe C. figured on bucking that. What do you mean? Then Peabody's jaw dropped. This is the place? This? Oh, boy. Jeez. Anonymous tip does the 911. Gonna want to review that transmission, because it's likely it was the killer. What I've got is the Vic owned the building, was having it rehabbed, redesigned. Maybe looking for some of his grandfather's glory days. But what's our boy doing hanging around in a cursed, haunted building at 2 a.m? This is the place, Peabody repeated, reverently now. Number 12. Since the Addies 12 East 12th, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, yeah. Let's turn him. Oh, right. When they rolled the body, Eve pursed her lips. Somebody really wanted this guy dead. 3 more entry wounds on the back. Lab will confirm, but I'm thinking... She crossed the room toward a set of old circular iron stairs. Standing about here, facing the attacker. Pow, pow, takes it in the chest. She slapped a hand on her own. Stumbles back, goes down. The smeared blood trail tells me the Vic tried crawling away, probably toward the doors. Doors were locked from the inside, first on scene said, Peabody added. Yeah, so he's crawling, and the killer moves in. Pow, pow, into the back. The sound of the shots must have blasted the air in here, Eve thought. Must have set the ears ringing. But it's not enough. No, we're not finished yet. Body falls. Has to be dead or dying, but it's not enough. Turns the body over, puts the barrel of the gun to the forehead. See the burn marks around the forehead wound? Contact. I did a lot of studying up on firearms during the de Blas case a couple years ago. Puts the barrel right against the head and pow. Coup de grace. Eve saw it in her head, heard it, smelled it. You put a gun like this. She pressed her fingertip to her own brow. You put it right against the skin and fire, it's personal. You put that many steel missiles in somebody, you're seriously pissed off. Vic's got his bright, shiny wristwatch. Looks antique. His wallet, cash and credit inside, key codes, PPC, pocket link. Killer didn't bother making it look like robbery. We'll run the electronics. Let's have a look at the link. Eve took the link in her sealed hands. Called up the last transmission. There was a whispering, windy sound, which Eve had to admit tingled her spine just a bit. The husky female voice wove through it. Number 12, 2 a.m.